Hi everyone, I'm Amira, aka Bittersweet, and I'm here today with the one and only Mr Midas.
Yep, I am here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here on your special day, your blessing.
Today is, of course, Xbox Day.
Can't believe I did that.
That wasn't rehearsed either.
Can't believe I did
We're
that.
here to watch the Xbox Series X preview. We are going to see some exclusives coming up. You will remember me and Mr Midas did a similar video for the PlayStation 5. We are here today to do Xbox instead. How do you feel about that?
So I'm wearing green for you just because it's Xbox Day. Now, like you know, I am the PlayStation guy. I love PS5 and I've been involved in that console forever. But I'm excited to see what Xbox are bringing to the table, because I think one of the things Xbox has lacked this generation is exclusive, and this showcase is about its exclusive. So I want to see what you lot are coming with.
100%, and I have absolutely all the faith that Xbox will get that back. Wow, I have to say, personally, I am absolutely blown away. We saw some amazing trailers, we saw some incredible gameplay. Mr. Midas, what are your thoughts?
So I've got three main thoughts. So the conference overall for me was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. Similar to yourself being a PlayStation guy, it didn't get me like that butterflies in my belly the same way for you. But secondly, what I thought was really important is I feel like Xbox's main issue is people always say that you only have shooters or you don't have any exclusives, and they showed they've got a variety of games. They showed, look, we've got all different type of games, it's not just shooters.
Yeah.
And the third thing that really stood out to me is Game Pass. Game Pass is the winner of this conference.
Absolutely, all those titles that are going to be available on Game Pass, on console launch. We saw so many amazing exclusives, and like you say, I really think they're pushing that narrative that they have got other games there as well. They're showing us a lot of RPG games, and a lot of the games were also a lot stronger in the storyline and narrative behind it. So really excited to kind of get stuck into some solo gameplay on some of those campaigns.
So obviously we've got to start with Halo.
Obviously.
You've been an Xbox girl, break it down to me. How did you feel about Halo?
I think it looked good. I think there'll be a lot of Spartans out there who are very excited about the development. Visually, it looked amazing. I was getting sort of more Destiny vibes off it as well. There are a few really good establishing shots when it comes to the graphics and things like that. But I did feel like the environment was just a little bit still lackluster in the gameplay that we did see.
So for me, like, the one FPS that I'm really excited for this year is Cyberpunk. Like, when I saw Cyberpunk, it blew me away, and Cyberpunk for me felt like a next-gen game. Where seeing this Halo, it looked amazing, it looked pretty, but it just didn't feel next-gen to me. And I don't know if that's because I haven't invested enough time in Halo and I haven't invested enough time within that world, but it just didn't grab me as, oh my god, this is next-gen. You need to have this on next generation the way Cyberpunk is. But I don't know if that's because Xbox's whole ecosystem is about, it's not just about next gen. That's what PS5 is about. We're next gen, where PlayStation's about this. I mean, Xbox is about, this is our ecosystem, and you can play everywhere. So it felt like it would look sick on your standard Xbox, but would look even sicker on your Series X.
Of course.
So, but I just didn't feel like it blew me away, like, oh my god, that's next year.
Yeah, I do feel like they tried to play a little bit more into the storyline of things as well, and obviously there's a few new weapons and things like that. The grapple looked super fun, being able to just grapple into somebody and then like finish them off. That looked cool as well. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah,
it did, but you're right, it did feel very Destiny-esque for me. I don't know why. It was screaming, it was more screaming Destiny vibes than it was Halo vibes for me.
Yeah, okay, I can see where you're going with that. Does that mean that I could then actually segue onto Destiny?
Of course.
Because, oh my god, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, that just, oh my god, it blew my mind. That trailer was amazing. The graphics looked insane. I can't believe, you know, the way that they've updated the graphics and everything to really make the most of that Xbox Series X power. Oh, I was absolutely blown away.
So it was a really, obviously, sensible partnership, them partnering with Bungie and being able to showcase that. It's not an exclusive, obviously it's going to be on the PS as well, but I think that Xbox are very synonymous with shooters,
Yeah.
and one of the things that I kind of felt was lacking in the conference was enough shooters until Destiny came out, and I think Destiny sat in that really perfectly.
So just one more thing on Destiny that I feel like is really worth a mention. All these new features that they've brought in now, you can build in Destiny. So I'm obviously a Fortnite streamer. That is absolutely mind-blowing to me that now in Destiny you can build structures to help yourself move around the map and obviously give yourself advantage over different enemies like that. You can freeze people, you can shatter them. There's just so much going on. I can't wait to give that a go.
How do you feel like the building's gonna change the play of Destiny?
Massively, of course. Destiny was already sick with the double jump and those sorts of things that helped you kind of with your mobility and things like that, but now I think this building is going to give people a massive advantage, and make it a bit more strategic in some of the PvP as well, maybe.
Yeah, I love the shatter move looks so sick. Yeah, that was cold. Tell me why.
Tell me why,
So
yeah.
tell me why it really looked like Life is Strange. So I literally thought it was going to be Life is Strange 3. And I've never really seen a game like that really been promoted within an Xbox conference. So that was pretty cool to see that. I don't know who was behind it.
Well, I think the interesting thing about that game as well is, like you said, it did have sort of Life is Strange vibes. Obviously in Life is Strange you look at the photographs, whereas this is actually about emotion being evoked by a memory. And why I think that's so interesting at this particular time in this climate in 2020 is because so many people are suffering with mental health things, and it ties in really nicely, almost, you know, with that Hellblade sort of vibe as well, you know, kind of not shying away from those sort of important topics and things like that. And I also think it was a great way for them to showcase, as I was saying earlier, these new, more in-depth storylines, these really strong narratives that Xbox, some games potentially have been lacking in the past.
Yeah, that's probably one of the big lacklusters from your current libraries, having those kind of in-depth stories. Sony's known for like those really big narrative games. One thing that caught my eye was the Rare title, Rare being a big purchase for Microsoft, and I feel like Rare's made some of the greatest Nintendo games ever, but since they've been with you, other than Sea of Thieves, which is now doing even better than when it first came out, I don't feel like it's been the same Rare. It's not been like that Rare for people to really be excited about. So I think it's called Everwild. Everwild had that kind of, oh, that's really interesting. And even if it's like I couldn't really get what the story was about and stuff like that, but it was like just interesting art style, interesting visuals, and a really good way for Xbox to showcase, look, we've got different types of titles.
Yeah, exactly. So another RPG that looked really strong, really beautiful visuals, and as you say, the animation was very interesting as well. I really liked the kind of spiritual side to it. It was a bit like using magic, but you're harnessing the power of the earth, and you know, I just think all of that was really cool. And yeah, great to get another RPG going. Yeah,
it's definitely needed. This is something that I think Microsoft is really pushing towards.
So I think another game that looked really interesting was As Dusk Falls. It had this sort of 3D comic animation style to it, which was really intriguing for me, and the characters all seem quite relatable. You've got a few flawed characters, and you help make decisions that actually shape the rest of the gameplay and things like that. As I say, the animation just looked gorgeous, so that looked like a nice one to play along to.
Yeah, I like the look of that. I also liked that they put some attention into Ori. I know Ori's obviously come out, but I feel like Ori is a really great platformer that enough people haven't played, and them kind of still spotlighting it and being like, look, this isn't one of our biggest like known games, but it's a beautiful game, it plays well, and it's very difficult. People don't actually realize it's a really difficult platformer, and then basically showing the difference in the current Xbox ecosystem to the Series X or X Series or whatever your consoles are called, because you've got too many different consoles.
But I think they chose the perfect game to really showcase the power for the graphics and the visual and the audio as well. And Ori is obviously such a great game to do that with, and to give it a little bit of a reboot, a bit more life there as well. I think it's going to showcase, as I say, the power of the new console perfectly.
And obviously they did their thing like they always do with car games, showing off the power, showing how beautiful things are with Forza. So Forza looked incredible, and car games are always the showcase of a next-gen consoles.
But this didn't just look good, this looked insane.
Yeah, but
this looked incredible. I
feel like it's always like that. I feel like the next-gen car games always look
native 4K. Imagine that on your 55-inch 5K TV, you've got Forza
I've got
native
75
4K.
inch.
Oi, it's like that, yeah, like that. Speaking of really interesting audio, we did see Psychonauts 2, which features a soundtrack with Jack Black. I thought that was actually one of the best trailers that we saw today. I loved seeing Jack Black in the booth behind the scenes recording the soundtrack to that. Obviously the protagonist is super cute. What did you think?
I think it looked like somebody had one of those turtles, those cracked turtles, and they licked it and they went into some next hallucination, because that game was looking mad hippie-ish and mad thing. Like, yeah,
the visuals were really trippy, but it looked really fun, you know, very bright, kind of visually stimulating.
Yeah.
So that might be a fun one to get your hands on.
Yeah, I definitely like the look of that. Another one that really stood out to me was the Medium. Now I've seen bits of the Medium before, but you haven't seen a proper like gameplay, and it was like the character was going through different stages, but you saw two perspectives, so her just being ordinary her, and her like being like powerful and having like powers, and that was kind of interesting. And it was the first kind of like horror looking game. Like we saw State of Decay, but it was the first proper like horror looking game in the conference, which is weird because usually a lot of these conferences now they're being hammered with horror games, like 6, 7 in there. So I kind of like the look of that, and the lighting in it was really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Visually again, really appealing, and all those different, like you say, different lighting states, things like that. Really added to like the feel of the game. Do you know what I mean? It had quite a creepy feel overall, and that can be quite hard to achieve sometimes 100%. In a horror game. Like you said, that's Xbox trying to showcase that we've got a little bit of something for everyone. Another game we were going to mention was, or worth mentioning I should say, was Stalker 2. This looks like it is set in Chernobyl, or something that is meant to be quite very similar to, and again had a very eerie feel to it, but looked quite exciting. It was another world exclusive. We got to see a little bit more on that. Yeah,
it didn't really jump out to me. I saw it, it was kind of interesting, but it was, I don't know what, I was kind of like, all right, where's your big AAA that's coming out, and where's your big AAA that's coming out, which we got to see a bit of at the end.
Yeah, just a tiny little teaser there of what everyone has been waiting for, Fable 2. I cannot believe that it was less than 10 seconds of a trailer, but it was a fairly good one, quite memorable, the fairy being eaten by the frog.
I think it was a really good trailer, but I feel like it was a little disappointing. I kind of felt like they should have started the conference with Fable and finished with Halo. I get why they didn't, because at the end of the day everyone knew Halo was there because they've been teasing it all day. But I feel like, get people excited. Like, is it gonna play like a Legend of Zelda? Is it gonna play like a Horizon Zero Dawn? What is it gonna play like? And I felt like we've had enough CG trailers. We need to see what this game is.
Absolutely, they were definitely lacking a little bit of gameplay for that. A few extra seconds would have gone miles. So overall, I was really satisfied with that preview. I think it was awesome to see so many cool games, and really to show, as I say, the actual power, the superior technology of the Xbox X Series.
We got a better SSD card. It's going to be faster.
I'm very excited to get my hands on the console itself and some of those games, and that preview was definitely a lot better than the last conference that Microsoft put out.
Yeah, the last one was dead.
So, Mr Midas, Mr PlayStation, any final thoughts on the new Xbox that will be coming out?
So the conference didn't sway me. I'm not going to get an Xbox. I did enjoy it, and I think it was great that Xbox showed that they've got new things and different titles. But the overall feel is, where was all of those triple punches that make me go and there was a few that made me go, ooh, I like that. But yeah, it didn't over excite me, but maybe because I'm just a Sony guy.
Yeah, your blood runs blue for sure, man.
Fully blue.
Where can everybody find you if they want to check out more of your videos?
So you can find me on all social media, Mr Midas Games, Midas spelled M-I-D-A-S. You can find me on YouTube. I've got my own YouTube channel where I do loads of videos. That's also Mr Midas Games. I've got my own show on GRM Daily where you get artists to go head to head on the latest console games called GGR, and you can see my face on TV, on Sky TV, on Jinx Esports TV. I'm about.
This guy gets about.
I'm about, fam. I'm out here.
Thank you very much for joining me today. I can't wait to do some more content together for you guys.
And happy Xbox Day.
Happy Xbox Day.